So I'm assuming you downloaded our script files, image export and board defaults. And so let's open up this script file in your favorite text editor, and you'll want to change this directory and maybe the file name of where the image is going to get exported. Here I just have it going to an images file or folder underneath my Eagle directory. So let's go back to the schematic we just created and hit this button, switch to board, which will generate a board file from the schematic. And basically it sticks all your components over here, and you'll want to lay out the components over in this area. So let's start by just selecting them all and moving them to a more convenient location. And then we can move some of the LEDs again over here. So then we're going to lay them out in a 3x5 grids, and so to help us do that, we'll just hit the script board defaults, and that changes the grid to be a 0.5 millimeter. If you don't like that, you can easily change it here. So then to start placing LEDs, hold down your command key on a Mac or maybe a control key on a PC and click on the LEDs after you have move an object highlighted, and it's going to snap to the grid. So to lay out the LEDs, I like to have them about a 0.5 millimeter apart vertically in each row. And then between the rows have about 3 of those grid boxes, like so. So between letters, go for something like 5 of those 0.5 millimeter grid boxes. Okay, so now we got all our LEDs laid out. So now it's time to place our wire pads. I'm going to just put them roughly in the middle underneath our LED array. So now that you've got all the components placed, it's time to wire them up. So let's start by getting rid of the names and values so it's a little bit easier to see what we're doing. Then we're going to click on the Route Manually tool. We want to be on the top, want this to be right angle, and we want the width to be 1 millimeter. So then we're just going to connect the left-hand side of the LEDs to the positive wire pad, leaving about 2 millimeters between the wire and the LED at the bottom. So now we're going to connect the ground to the right-hand side of the LEDs. And we're going to kind of make a loop around the whole name tag with the ground to try and get the distance between the ground and each LED to be relatively similar. Escape. And then again, wire up the pads to this ground wire. Alright, looks like we got all our LEDs wired up, and we're ready to export the image. So do script image export, hit enter, and then when we go to our images folder, we can see that we have exported a PNG file of the circuit we just drew.